Okay, on today's video, we're going to talk about how stating your average results, talking about how much weight someone's going to lose with using your product, or how much muscle they're going to gain, or how much they're going to save. You could call them case study or testimonial also if you want, but this is going a little bit further here on your PPC landing page. Also, of course, on your ads too to go along with that. But for the most part, we're talking about landing pages today, but you're going to use with a PPC campaign. Can double the conversion rates that your campaign is bringing in right now. So with that, I'm going to go through my methodology that I've used in the past 5 years or so to take a client's results at our PPC firm, put them into a form that can get double the conversion rates on a landing page with changing nothing else. And I'm going to share with you the best way to do it out of all the kind of tweaks and twists and everything that we've done with it. So you could walk away with just the gold-plated thing that I've ended up with and use on our clients' campaigns today. On top of that, on the end of at the end of our video here, I'm going to go through 4 different clients where I've done this before. With slightly different twist on it each time, but I'll explain a little bit of details on each one of them and how much results that we were able to bring in using this to show you why you actually want to use this for your business as well, of course. Now, I will start off with a general disclaimer that this strategy is for people who have good products, good services that actually get results, that are not fluff. Of course, you could use this, without having the results and just it's the fact that you're willing to state numbers and specifics. Any good copywriter will tell you it's being more specific in your writing will get more sales. This goes with having actual results that you've delivered and packaging that up for the user. It could be abused. You could make up the numbers. It would work just as good. But for the most part, it's hard for some industries. It's hard to get results that they can share about what they've done. For one, like our industry, is talking about how to make someone's PPC campaign better. You can't share those results because that's proprietary information. So I understand in some industries it might be a little hard, but there are ways to frame it so that you can anonymize the data. It won't work as good if you aren't as specific as if you can tell who it is. Results are amazing. If you can't, you'll still get good results. Way better than not having any results shown at all. And so with that, I'll explain kind of why that is and the way that I set it up and all that. But for the most part, guys, this is for existing businesses that have a few customers, of which you could probably share the results and actually know the results that you've gotten. So anyway, you got that. This is all easy for you to do. So why average results, quote unquote, matter when producing a PPC campaign landing page? It's actually pretty simple. People do not care about anything else other than how what you sell is going to work, and i.e. the results it's going to give them. Even the price that you're charging them a lot of times. Now, of course, price is the number one thing in terms of, because what you're doing is people see, they don't care, they're just looking for the cheapest price. That is the case in a lot of different spaces. For one, like a cleaning service, people don't think that one service is going to be monumentally better than the other. A lot of times they're just wanting to get the cheap price because it seems like a commodity. So there are, of course, exceptions, but more often than not, showing them how much results you can get in specific and in a certain format that I found is going to work better than fooling around with the price. So before you drop your price, in other words, use this strategy, put it together. You can double your number of sales you're getting on the same ad spend without having to drop your price, hurting your margins, of course. And I will say on top of that, it will increase the click-through rate because you can put the same results in your ad. That'll increase your click-through rates. That'll drop your cost per click because click-through rates directly linked to cost per click due to Google's quality score system. And because your landing page converts better, you're going to also get a reduction in cost per click because that's also how Google's quality score system works as well. So you have your straight up conversion, it can double your conversion rate, but if by the time you add up the cost per click reduction by doing this on your ad and on your landing page, more specifically on your landing page at least, you could triple the profit that your campaign's generating. So if you can go all the way through what I give you here and take it all the way. So that's the first key issue here. The next, stating your results is the best way to convey how it's going to work to the consumer, even though it's through giving, conveying specifically how what you're offering the consumer is going to work is the best way to sell what you have, is basically my main point here. Even if what you're offering is free. Even if you were in a PPC ad offering a free ebook, nobody gives a crap. You could say it's the best ebook. You can say it's the top ebook in the world. You can have even a celebrity saying it's the best, service in the world. You're going to be hard pressed to find something that's actually going to work better than actually telling the person exactly how well it's going to work. Because ultimately, they're reading through all this other fluff copy that you're writing on your landing page to figure out how well it's going to work. So why don't we just tell the person how it's going to work? There is no other better way to do it. Of course, if you have Oprah that says your product's amazing, yeah, that's going to probably be better than actually stating the results. But for the most part, this is the number one thing that you can do with your landing page or where you're going to send traffic to sell. And to sell and get a doubling in conversion rates the way that I mentioned you could do it here using this methodology, adding onto your landing page, and tripling the profitability by the time you add in the cost per click reduction you're going to get by adding this to your landing page and as well to your ad as well. But main point being, even if you're offering something for free, you still got to sell them on spending the time to watch it. And the best the best response you're going to get from people reading your free information, that's the beginning of a sales process, is to state what they're going to get out of reading it. Just saying you're going to learn this, that's bull crap. Leave it at that. And people, if you could say, by reading this, you're going to be able to save 20% more time when you do this task from now on. That's the type of stuff that people want to hear. They don't want to hear, in other words, you're going to save time. That could be, 1 minute a year? Is it 10 hours a year? Is it 100 hours a year? What is it? Anytime, the golden rule is you don't want to make people think when they get to your landing page. You want to tell them exactly what you're going to give them, as being as specific as possible. And since everybody wants the results, you tell them, exactly what results you're going to give them. So this is pretty, old information. You can look up. There's a book called "Don't Make Me Think." If you that tells how to make a website that converts. Everything you're doing with your website is to make things laid out in as easy a format as possible for that user to get the information they need without thinking as much as possible, and that's going to lead to your highest conversion rates. If you could distill it all down to say, Jimmy got this, Margaret got this, Frank got this. Now you're getting down to the brass tacks of what they're there in the first place for, and they'll reward you with buying it at a much higher rate, like I said, doubling, just with that one element added to your page instead of saying, well, our customers, they get really good results. And so. Even if, with that said, there's a couple different variations on there that you can actually do this, and I'll get into that next. So, respectively, examples of phrases that you're going to be able to want to do. This is at a base level how to do it. You're going to get some of the results, not all the results. You could say stuff like adds at least 10 horsepower, lose up to 10 to 30 pounds, save at least 30%. These are the kinds of statements that are going to be along the same kind of path where you want to be to take advantage of getting the 2x conversion rates from where you're sending the traffic to at the end of the day. More so though, if you want the doubling in conversion rates, I'm going to suggest you take this one step further. Now these things are nice and everything. You could put these in your ads. You could take if you're running ads right now, which I assume you are, on Google. Your first headline is going to say what if they're looking for big red shoes, it's going to say big red shoes for sale. You're going to give them exactly what they want. That's what they want to see. You're not going to find anything better than that most of the time, 99% of the time. Second headline is going to tell them exactly what your differentiator is. That will be most of the time what I'll use, but if I don't, I'm going to tell them what is the immediate short-term benefit I can offer them. In other words, lose up to 30 pounds, gain 10 horsepower. If we have a sale going on, we'll say save 10% March only there. That would normally beat telling them what the results are. But respectively, telling them what the results are will get you a higher click-through rate versus not, versus just saying, big red shoes. We have a wide selection of big red shoes, da-da-da-da-da. You're going to say, we'll reduce, gets male attraction, gets 27, shown to get 27% more male attraction from the opposite sex. Now, you got to think about why people buy things, first of all. Why do they buy things? Yes, they might compete with other women. They get it to attract the other sex. They're not buying it because it looks good. Find out what people want and find out what results other people are getting. If you don't have it, figure it out. Run a study. This is very important to get good results with your campaign. So you're being specific and you're trying to get the idea of what results it actually deliver. You could package that up in your ad in the second or third headline. If you have a good differentiator, like a 3-year guarantee on the materials, you're going to put that in the second headline and then go to, attracts opposite sex at 27% higher rate on the third headline. That explains exactly, okay, you're doing different. You're different than everybody for this reason, and then ultimately it's going to give me this result, and that result looks good to me, so therefore I'm going to click. That's going to get you a jump on your conversion or your click-through rates right out the board. Now, you get the person going to the site. They have some expectations. Even if you did nothing else, you're going to make more money just from that. But we're going to take this the rest of the way to where we want to double or triple our profit from our campaign. So when they get to the site, ultimately you could say, adds at least 10 horsepower on the product page or the landing page or whatever that you're taking their user to. Or it could be a bunch of products. It could be any of these products, will add 10 horsepower to your car or whatever after it's installed. That would be a way to get some additional lift on top of not having anything versus having your ad set up with this, this saying that you're going to package up your results into. But the best way to do this is to have a table on your site, and it's going to have 5 different examples of, this is only 4 here, but 5 different examples of what results other customers got. So instead of saying, this particular auto part, when installed, gives you at least 10 more horsepower, it's way more convincing if you can have John from Vermont had 207 horsepower before, now has 220 horsepower. Mark from Chicago had this before, now they have this. Gives them very specific examples of how much horsepower gain certain people got. They're just going to believe that much, much, much more than saying, product gives 10 more horsepower. And if you want to take this the rest of the way, if these are, legitimate people, this will kick up your results a lot more even so. The person's name, link to their social media so that person can see that it's a real person. Then compensate the person if you have to and say, hey, for every person you talk to, I'll give you $10 that buys the product. There's some creative stuff you can do there. Also, put headshot next to the name. Some people will do, instead of John Smith, they'll put John S., which is okay. You'll get some results. If you get John Smith, it's even more results. If you have John Smith in the headshot, it's even more results. And if it's John Smith with the headshot and you link to his Facebook, it's even more results. So how much results basically do you want? I know you can't get that a lot of the times for a lot of you guys with different businesses out there, depending on what you sell. Nobody wants to know, I got a prostate medication that I'm using, and I'll be a testimonial, but for a lot of products you can, and where you can't, you have other options where you can, make it anonymized and still give them the examples and still get most of the doubling of the conversion rate you can get. I want to say even without the headshot and without the link to social, 80, 90% of the time you have this table here and you have your ad set up the way that I mentioned here. Adds at least 10 horsepower, sends them to the table, and just those two things you're going to get the doubling already. This is the link to the social and the headshot, it's even more. Respectively speaking, you're going to get more results if you do this so for each product that you have, if you're selling a product, or each service that you have. Sending them to a page with there's an air intake for a car. Sending them to the air intake page for a Honda Civic, and then saying this product gets at least 10 more horsepower, which you can still say at the top of the page, which is what I would normally do, and then have this table on there. Your results are going to be a lot better because it's going to be even more believable. So it's just another additional, thing that you can do, so people can see, okay, I have a Honda Civic, I want to buy this product. This is what other Honda Civic owners have. Your sales will go just skyrocket if you can get it down to that level. You don't have to do that to get the doubling for the most part, but if you do it, you'll get even more. Just another thing that you can do. And if you have a service, this works for service businesses too, of course. I have several examples I'm going to get into here, but if you have if you're offering insurance, so you can say how much you can save, save at least 30%, lose up to 30 pounds, stuff like that in terms of results based. There's another last example I haven't mentioned, which is John Smith. Here that you could put at the top of the table. Last 5 quotes. John Smith, $49 for 2 bedrooms. Jacob Smith, or whatever, $69 for 3 bedrooms. Assuming that was a cleaning service, you're giving them an example of what prices were for the last 5 people or whatever. Hypothetically, last 5 people, obviously last 5 at the time of you're making this. But then, so if you're going to get to the page and you're trying to get a cleaning service, you see on the ad it says, you're offering insurance, and the insurance says save up to 30% on your insurance, and then you get to a page and it shows what the typical quotes are. Last 5 quotes. Now I know, yeah, they're not lying. Their insurance is reasonable. Okay, I'm going to respond. Versus somebody else's page, there's not going to be any indication what the price is. Now I got to put my phone number in here in the form, which that salesperson may not call me 10,000 times. So you're offering more clarity in the sales process. That's where your doubling in conversion is going to be. It makes them think less, but it also is less risk to them to reach out. Of course, if they're buying it and you tell them that the average results the last 5 customers got, hypothetically speaking, then there's less risk of having to return it. So regardless if it's product or service, this thing works the same way. Now, I'm going to get into some different products and services that I've done this. I've done this in B2B, B2C, product, service. Works for everything, okay? As long as you could get the results, of course, like I said at the start of the video. But case studies that I've done this in the past. Insurance. I went through briefly how I did this for insurance before already, where it was last 5 quotes. The ads already did this, in this particular case, did not say that you could save money, because we weren't necessarily wanting to attract the person with the one of the cheapest prices per se, because they didn't have the cheapest prices. So there's something that could have been tested hypothetically, but just with the table that showed the last 5 quotes, then before what they had before, then after, we got close to a doubling in conversion rate from that. Now, when I say before and after, by the way, you can just have what the quote was, not before and after. Before and after is going to work better, but if you just have to do after, that's fine. Whether you use before and after or just what your result is, you're still going to get the doubling I'm claiming here in conversion rate difference that you could get even with that. If you want to take it one step further and make sure you get the most out of it, do it before and after because it works better generally. So with that, it was for insurance, a business insurance product that a lot of businesses need. They offer more than one type of insurance. So each type of insurance gets a different table to indicate what the typical prices is from this company that they offer for this type of insurance if I call or if I fill out the form. They got an 89% conversion rate increase off of the initial baseline without using this table. The increase in click-through rates was 71%. So whereas we did not test I didn't put anything in the ad, all we did with the form here, we did not have any kind of a difference in click-through rates or anything. We just got the 89% conversion rates from that particular, adding the table to our insurance offering page, and then which is obviously very good in and all itself. However, when we get into this next part here, I'm going to show you how we changed and added a table like this to our landing page and added on our ad what the actual end result that we're offering. I know some people may not want to do that because it gets into kind of dicey, because if they don't get the results, maybe it will lift returns. For me, the good outweighs the bad. I haven't heard any complaints when the people that actually had the cojones to try it. So it's up to you whether or not you do it or not. So the next actual service where I tried this on was in tax settlement. So this is like where you owe taxes to the IRS. You owe a bunch of money, and you need somebody to negotiate on your behalf. In that particular case, we made a new landing page, which mostly was the same as the last landing page, but we wanted to leave room for this table, which we had in there. And it actually had how much they owed before and how much they owed after. On top of that this time, we had in the actual ad saves up to and then amount, or very similar to that. Now, what kind of results do we get from both when we covered it from both angles here? So from that, adding this table of predicted results that show the person how we're actually different, because that's mostly what it's about, we got a 109% increase in conversion rate alone just from that. Adding that table. On top of that, we got a 45% increase in the click-through rate on the ad. So it's not huge, but still it's something. The fact that our ad is going to indicate to the user, we're confident enough of what we're doing to just claim how much you're going to save or what a typical customer saves. When everybody else is too scared to do it and we do it, we're going to get the benefit, the spoils from doing it. It also, like I said, kind of indicates to the user, like if you're gonna be the one that is gonna claim that you offer big results and are specific about it, well then you're probably not only telling the truth, let's just say that, but also that that you probably are more confident about what you're selling to begin with, and therefore I want to buy from somebody who's more confident. In sales, everything is about your level of confidence when you're selling in person, and a good salesperson will tell you that. And so the same thing kind of applies with the ad, and part of where you get that lift in CTR at as well. So tax settlement. Next one is cleaning services. I touched on this as well during this explaining this strategy. In this particular case, it was the same thing. We changed up the ad and we changed up the site. I added this table. This actually said what the last quotes were for. It said how many bedrooms and the price. That one actually could be done differently. It could say how much the price was before and after, but respectively, the person kind of has in their mind as well when they hire a cleaning service, kind of what they're willing to pay. So if I can know before I actually call what the price is and that it's reasonable, I don't know why people hide pricing. They think if I call, I could talk them into it. I can understand if you have a way premium service, then that could apply. But if you have standard service, just indicate the pricing to the user. Make it clear. That will get you an increase in conversion rates without having to try. If you are the cheapest one, I would go definitely a step further and say what the person's price was before and then after, because it also indicates on top of it whether or not, even if you haven't switched before or have a service now, it indicates that we're this much lower than the typical company. And the same thing applies with the insurance, okay? So that's why you want the before and after whenever you can get it. But in this particular case, we just showed like, okay, you basically have so many bedrooms, and that's how it's priced off of. I have 2 bedrooms, and now I can see, okay, for 2 bedrooms, this is about what they charge. Okay, that's in the price range, I'll call. doing that versus having a plain old landing page that's like, we offer cleaning services, give us a call. 98% difference in conversion rate. And then on top of that, being able to say, best pricing on cleaning services available, or some variation of that. I can't remember the exact phrase that we had for that, but we had a 121% increase in click-through rate. Why? Because people are focused on pricing. So the results in this particular case are, what kind of good price can you offer me? So we're going to put that in there. Save, if you have, you're 30% less than the competitors usually, save 30%. We're 30% less than average cleaning services in Dallas, or whatever is what I would do there. And then I'm going to do my before and after when we get to the page. If I'm the same price as everybody else, I'm going to, say something generic, choose our company and save, and then have our pricing, and then it's hope that the pricing looks low to the user and gets them to call. Because ultimately, like it had in this example, the prices weren't actually lower, but because I said what the prices were, half of which they're just saying, yeah, that price looks good anyway, I don't know if it's cheaper or not. Then the other half is you're reducing the risk for me to have to talk to somebody who may call me 3 times later on, and so on and so forth. Like, a lot of people don't like to give out their information and commit to calling until they are confident that it's not going to be a hassle. So there you have that. Now the last one here I also talked about when reviewing the strategy, and that is with the cold air intake. So there's to make a car faster, the intake that brings air into the car, you have certain ones that'll bring fresh air that's from the bottom of the car and it gives you more horsepower. And in that particular case, we were putting, on each product page, we were giving them an example how much horsepower they're going to get for each make and model, like I mentioned before. So like, it's the one for Honda Civic, 1.6 liter, last Honda Civic 1.6 liter company results, before and after. Now, because it's more specific, you get even more results, as I talked about before. Now, and then on top of that, on our ad, we put adds at least 10 horsepower or some derivative of that. So they know right away what I'm getting and what kind of results we offer before I even have to click, which reduces risk from me that I'm wasting my time clicking through this thing. And then when I get there, I tell them exactly what they want to know, which is that information. 164% conversion rate increase. So basically, make or break type of thing on a campaign, just doing this one thing for the consumer. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's definitely way hard if I'm going to do it for every product or service that I have to get kind of an idea of what results we can offer and actually be specific. It's also, of course, gives us anxiety to say what specific results, because if somebody doesn't get those results, then maybe they'll want a refund. But when you get a 164% increase in conversion rate from your campaigns here, there's no reason why not to do it, basically. Just don't over-embellish it. Take real results. There's nothing that says that because somebody else got those results doesn't mean you. And if you really had to worry about it, you could put, just because under your form, just because these other customers got this doesn't mean you're guaranteed it either. And then you should be legally covered anyway. I've never had to go through that with the client, but to me, and I'm not a lawyer, but that's what kind of makes sense to me. And that would cover you probably FTC-wise. Anyway, beyond that, stating how much horsepower you gain when everybody gets this stuff for horsepower anyway, you can already know, instead of saying cold air intake for Honda Civic 1.6, adds at least 10 horsepower to Honda 1.6, you're going to get an increase in click-through rate through your ad as well, which is 106% increase in click-through rate on that ad. So with all that, you're looking at triple your money on that last one by doing that. And that was a ton of work to do that for every make and model of the cars. You're talking about hundreds of them. But if you're making $1 million a year from your campaign, you can make $3 to $4 million by doing this one thing, or something around $3 million or whatever. Who cares if it costs $50,000 in time contacting customers and asking if you can use their name on something like this, or if not, just go ahead and dyno your own, test your own product, see what it is, give it away to 5 people, put it on their car, let them try it, find out what the results are, and then you've got something that'll forever after increase your conversion rate. So anyway, that's everything in a nutshell. I have a ton of other videos on this channel about other PPC money making strategies. If you like seeing, if you like this video, you should check those other videos out. I have a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog that has step-by-step information on how to do stuff like this, stuff that I just explained here on how I do it for our clients, step by step. If you like that, you should check that out as well. If you have any questions or comments about this particular showing your results, average results strategy, leave me a comment down below. I will get back to you, and within a day or two, I get back to everybody who leaves a comment on this channel. And I hope that this was interesting enough for you to try out, and I wish to hear from you what kind of results you got doing this trying it out for yourself.